Welcome into Moving the Chains, brought to you by Founders Federal Credit Union. I'm Kevin Thomas alongside John Epps. Jerel Hendricks back on the board as always. And boys, football is back. Cannot wait, man. Week 0 preview show. We are live and coming at you here. Lots of great games in week 0, John. Yes, I love in South Carolina, the non-region matchups don't really matter. But I love getting some of these big games early on, man.
Yeah, and for region-wise, it doesn't matter. But you look at down the stretch, I really value these programs that play some tough games, play some high-intensity games early, especially if you got some younger kids. It grows kids up quick and can go a long way once you do get to the region games that really do matter for playoffs and playoff seeding.
No doubt about it. As always, guys, appreciate you tuning in. Be sure to follow us on Facebook, Twitter /X, Instagram, YouTube, and more at Movin Chains. That's MOVINCHAINS. MovinChains.com is our website. Just revamp that to make it a little bit easier for you guys to peruse there. And then our podcast on Apple, Spotify, Google, and more. We do weekly preview shows live on Tuesday nights about 7:15 on Facebook and YouTube. We have interviews with coaches, interviews with players. Our weekly pick'em is out now. We have games of the week, teams of the week, players of the week. Lots of great content. Probably have a Friday night spaces this week as well, kind of doing some scoreboard watching from around the state on Fridays as well. But lots of great stuff coming to you as we kick off here in week 0. Be sure to get your Moving the Chains merch. Right now, you can support the boys. We've got some great stickers. Looks great on cars, on laptops, wherever you want. Your water bottle. Get your Moving the Chains sticker. Get you some toboggans here. Got some great hats as well. Richardson hats, gray front, black front, all kinds of different options here for you, along with T-shirts, black, navy blue, gray, or pink, or hoodies. John, I love my hoodie, man. We kind of have a gray color and kind of an off-white as well. Love wearing those games. I know you do as well.
Yeah, that's a great hoodie.
Really, really high-quality stuff. You can email us. You can send us a DM, whatever you want to do. We'll hook you up. Love to have you repping the boys, helping us grow this show bigger and better. John, as always, before we get into our Kona games of the week, Jerel, any shout-outs from some friends of the program we need to kind of give a hello to as we get rolling here? Chris, good to see you, buddy. Excited to talk about Gaffney this year. Poor man's Bricks at Spartanburg burned the ships. Big game for the Vikings, so we'll get that here in a minute. Alex says, let's go Red Devils. They're in for a big matchup as well. Chris says week 0, man, I cannot wait. I feel like we've been waiting all summer. Now we got some big-time football here right off the rip. Chris, good seeing you, man. Appreciate you being in here. As always, hi from Williston, says Allie. They've got a Thursday night game, John. We'll talk about here in a little bit. Excited to see that crowd this season.
Let's get into it, guys. Kona games of the week.
Perfect. Looking now at our Kona games of the week, John. 5 of the biggest games from across the state. Let's start with one down in the low country. A really cool 5A matchup. The Berkeley Stags traveling to take on the Ashley Ridge Swamp Foxes. Both teams obviously 0-0, John, as we get the season rolling here. Last year, Berkeley defeated Ashley Ridge 41-26 on the field. Ended up having to forfeit that game later on due to some eligibility issues there. But Berkeley, a team, year 3 under Coach Lodge, John, I'm high on this team. But then Ashley Ridge, they got some playmakers as well on their side of the football.
Yeah, this is a really good matchup. You got a Berkeley team that comes in, played really good defense last year. You got an Ashley Ridge team on the other side, really put up some points. Both teams made it to the second round of the playoffs last year. Good teams. I tell you what, I really like the way Ashley Ridge finished the season off last year. I feel like they really caught some fire, really had some good momentum coming into this offseason. I think it's a little bit of an upset to pick Ashley Ridge to win this game, but they're at home. They've got some good momentum from last year carrying over. I like Ashley Ridge to win this game. I just don't know if we're going to see a low-scoring affair or a high-scoring game.
Berkeley led by third-year starter junior Henry Rivers at quarterback. He's an athletic guy, great arm talent as well. Got a couple flashy playmakers outside for him. The offensive line with Zion Britt should be really good. Bryson McGee is one of those guys out wide for them. Defensively led by Landon Jackson up front. It's funny, we talk about Coach Lodge and Henry Rivers and a lot of offensive firepower, their strength might be their defense. John, 2 years ago in year one of Coach Lodge's tenure, they gave up 35 points per game. Last year, year two, cut that down to 16 points per game. A lot of familiar faces on that side of football. Should be really good on defense for the Stags this year. Ashley Ridge, quarterback Trevor Kalick, a Super 75 guy of ours, 3,600 yards last year, 33 touchdowns. Transfer running back Ryan Campbell comes over. He's an explosive playmaker. If you guys remember when Dorchester played Tom Knotts and Dutch Fork in the state title game a couple years back, as a freshman, Campbell had a big touchdown run there, really flashed early on. He's continued to be really good, a really good player here in the state. Offensive lineman Cody Peterson is a big guy up front for them as well. One thing to factor in, John, Ashley Haskins stepping in as the interim head coach for Ashley Ridge this year will be his first game there as the head man for the Swamp Foxes. Them being at home is a big piece, but I think this Berkeley team, I'm high on them. I like what they bring to the table this year.
Yeah, I think it's going to be two really good teams, and we're going to find out a lot. I think if Berkeley wins this game, that's a big step. That's a good win for them. And if Ashley Ridge, same token, if Ashley Ridge is able to come out, win game one under the new coach at home against a really good Berkeley team, an experienced Berkeley team as well, that can go a long way for the rest of the season, really set the tone for either program that comes out on top Friday.
We talked about the Low Country lately where it feels like Somerville has kind of gotten back to Somerville of old, where they've had a lot of talent, a lot of good seasons. But outside of that, who's going to make, be a big player? We've got Oceanside obviously doing big things in 3A, but at that 4A, 5A level, we've seen flashes from James Island, flashes from Lucy Beckham. But is it going to be Stratford? Is it going to be Berkeley? Is it going to be AR? Like, who is really going to step up to be another big-time player down there? So, John, sounds like you're leaning into Swamp Foxes. Is that right for Friday?
I am. I'm leaning Ashley Ridge here. And I'll tell you what, you look back at last year, Somerville, lucky to beat either one of these teams. They were in a dogfight with both of them last season as well. So you talk about teams being close to the Green Wave. Both of these programs certainly close last year on the field.
Yeah, it should be a lot of fun. I'm going to ride with Rivers and Lodge on the road. I think just a little too much experience here. I like what they can do, and I'm really high on the defense. Like, the defense makes the difference. Like, Ashley Ridge, obviously, they want to light it up on offense. They've got the playmakers to do it. I think the Stags make just enough stops. I think Berkeley pulls out a win in this football game. Jerel, thoughts from you, thoughts from the chat on this one here?
Yeah, I'll be the tie-breaking. I'm going to go with Berkeley as well. I think they're going to be able to take this game. I mean, it's tough because early in the season, you like to lead towards the defenses, but I really like these two offenses. Obviously, with Berkeley though, the question mark is, can they replace those dynamic playmakers that they lost from a season ago? And I think they'll be able to do so. Really like Henry Rivers. I think this is the year though. You keep alluding to Coach Lodge, his third year with that system. I think this is the year they take a step. But no disrespect to Ashley Ridge, I really like what they're going to do, especially on offense. Two very good teams, should be a good matchup, and two teams that we're probably going to be talking about well into the season and into the postseason. So just like Berkeley a little bit more at this point.
Perfect. Should be a great matchup. Was a fun game last year, a little more high scoring, but hopefully we'll see something similar as far as good games this year. Sorry, cut out John and Jerel there. Do we have them back? There we go. Sorry, guys. Nick says, best time of the year. Yes, sir, Coach. Excited to get these boys rolling this Friday. Going to be a lot of fun. Chris says Berkeley by 90 for City Slicker, who'll be at his 680-plus game this week. Wow. I know Slicker's a big Stags fan, so he'll be excited about this that Rivers and Lodge squad for sure going at it this week. Zach says, good evening. Defending champs are back this week, ready for a game at Varner Stadium Friday night. Should be a fun one. We'll get to that game in a minute here with Clinton and Woodruff. Zach. Michael says hello. Looking forward to Spartanburg Northwestern. What chances do we give Northwestern to repeat as state champs? We'll talk about that game here in a minute, Michael. We'll give you our pick on that one and talk through a little bit more about Northwestern and the Trojans' chances this season.
Yeah, that's it for the comments so far, so we can keep going to the next one, guys.
Perfect. Our second Kona game of the week. Another game in the Low Country, but featuring a Midlands team traveling down there, and that's Irmo, the Yellow Jackets, traveling down to face the Oceanside Collegiate Land Sharks last year. Irmo won this football game by a large margin, 35-7. Both teams look a little bit different this year, John. Irmo especially, you lose A.J. Brand, you lose Donovan Murph, some big names people know there. They've got two quarterbacks they're working right now, Dre Dobson and Britton Davis. Coach Brand has said he's going to play both. When it comes down to crunch time, we'll see who gets the majority of snaps at that point, but I think he's going to play both guys, give both guys a shot to compete here early on. Running back Amir White is back. He had a really big season for them last year. I like what he brings to the table. Receiver Malik Miller is a flashy, explosive guy out wide. I like what he brings for them. OL Nate Carson, one of the best in the state. Defensive line led by Jaden Bryant, 2027 recruit, and Major Taylor, two really good guys up front for that Yellow Jackets group. Coach John, do you see a familiar outcome to last year in this game? Do you think it's a little bit closer? Oceanside gets to win. What do you see happening here in this matchup?
I think Irmo's still going to win this game, and I think they'll win it pretty comfortably. I don't know if it's going to be a 4-touchdown game, though. I think Irmo is having to replace a lot of production and a lot of really high-level talent. Oceanside, yes, they do as well, but not to the degree that Irmo is. I think it's at home. That's going to play a part. That's a long road trip. I think they'll play a little bit into it as well. I think Irmo still wins this game by a couple scores, but that's okay. Oceanside is a really, really good team. They are going to be the team to beat in 3A, and that's going to be a very, very tough class for anyone to knock off Oceanside. I think what we see in this game is I think we're going to see a lot about Irmo and seeing how well they're able to replace A.J. Brand at quarterback and Donovan Murph out wide. I don't think the fall off is going to be very, very large. There'll be a little bit, but there's so much talent on this Yellow Jackets team. And I think this year we might hear a lot more about that Irmo defense than we did last year, because A.J. Brand and Donovan Murph took a lot of the headlines, a lot of that limelight, spotlight with this team. Without them there, I think we're going to realize how good this Irmo defense is. They were good last year. I expect them to be really good this year too.
You talk about the Land Sharks, 2-time state champs, 2 years ago in 2A, last year in 3A, winning both of those state championships. Quarterback Aiden Manavian, we love the kid, one of the best throwers of the football in the state. He's back at quarterback year 3 as a starter. Receiver Terrence Johnson's a weapon out wide, along with Cooper Webb. Sawyer Arnold, a Super 75 guy. I think he's an App State commit up front on the D-line. A lot of talent on both sides of the football. My worry for this game for Oceanside is I feel like Irmo might be a little bit bigger up front. Might allow them to kind of lean on them, kind of wear them down a little bit. And it comes down to these things. Honestly, John, I don't know what this Irmo team is going to look like. We've talked about you missed some big pieces there with Brand and Murph. You wonder if you're playing two quarterbacks and you want to find out who's better. If you're Coach Brand, do you let them sling it around a little bit? What do you do? Because I feel like if you're playing to just win this game, if you're Irmo, you're probably going to lean heavy on the run game. A lot of Amir White, a lot of run with Dobson, a lot of run with Davis behind that big offensive line. But if you want to really see which quarterback is the guy for down the road, maybe you let them throw a little bit more than you need to kind of see how it shakes out. But I still think Irmo, the size up front is the advantage for them. I think the Yellow Jackets go down to Charleston and win this football game.
Yeah, I think the depth as well, because Oceanside does have – they're big. They're a big group, but the depth isn't to the level of Irmo, of course. I'll tell you what, if I'm Coach Brand, I know you want to settle on a quarterback as soon as you can. This game might not be the game to do it. I think you let them both play, but if you got two guys, obviously you hope one separates, right? And it makes that decision easy for you. But if you're out there and you're slinging the ball around, you're trying to air it out, see who's the better passer of the football, and you get into the third quarter and, it's a 14-10 ball game, I think you got to – that final 12 minutes, if you're in that kind of scenario, you got to lean on Amir White and say, all right, we're going to go do what we can to get this W. And that could be the game plan, right? Yeah. You could get into the third quarter and it could be 28-0 and, business as usual. But it'll be an exciting game Friday. I think, the storylines are certainly there. I think Irmo wins the game, but I think there's going to be a lot more to that game that we're going to find out from just the score.
First game as head coach for Brent LaPrade as well. Oceanside Collegiate stepping in there, being the head man. Jerel, comments from you or the chat on this matchup?
Hey, I like Irmo in this one. like a lot of people are saying in the chat, like you guys have said, I wouldn't be surprised if we're in the third quarter, later in the second half, if this is not still a, 1-score game, 10-point game. But I think that Irmo in the end is going to separate just because of the depth, like John mentioned, and then like the size that Kevin mentioned here on those offense and defensive lines. It just wears on a team. It just, that's fundamentally, that's how football has been won, historically. But I think this is a great matchup of why we love these non-region contests, because it allows us to see, Irmo replacing those big losses, see the young guys be able to take a step and not really cost them. And then a situation too, where we get to see a playmaker like Aiden Manavian go up against a high level, program in Irmo. So that's what makes this one fantastic. I think it'll be a fun matchup. Eventually Irmo pulls away late, but it's going to be very, very interesting to see how it goes.
One of the, I guess kind of game inside the game I'm looking forward to watching is Manavian against that defensive front. We watched him come on the scene 2 years ago as a freshman in that state title game, and Gray got after him. I think one guy had like 6 or 7 sacks himself, but he kept standing in there, kept making the throws, kept taking this, didn't really care. So wonder how much that pressure really can bother him or not bother him. That'll be fun to watch to see how he takes that challenge on of Jaden Bryant, Major Taylor, and his guys up front for the Yellow Jackets. I know Coach Wright's bunch on that DL is always tough. So it's going to be a fun matchup between Manavian and that defensive line for the Yellow Jackets. But any other comments from the chat, Jerel, on that game? JD says, we are back. Let's go A-Town. The Panthers, always tough, JD. Appreciate you tuning in here as always. Zach says, Irmo have a quarterback in place. AJ, they got 2 guys. They got a lefty, Britton Davis, a righty, Dre Dobson. Going to play both, Zach. We'll see how it shakes out as the season moves on. Chris says he'll be close for a half. Irmo rolls asterisks with depth. Certainly could see that happening, Chris. John, if I'm Coach Brand, I think they're going to play the kid that has the hot hand. That could be. It may come in where, hey, we've got a plan for the first 6 drives, and after that, we're just playing who's hot, whatever it is. That certainly could be the situation. GH says Ridgeland lost some dogs. They might run in 1A this year as a sleeper. I like Ridgeland and Hardyville, actually. I like both those teams, GH, down there in 1A this year. Bradley, it's a pleasure to see you guys. Appreciate you, Bradley, man. We're pumped to get this season kicked off as well.
Let's roll on to the next game, guys.
Perfect. Our third Kona game of the week, a 2A, 3A matchup, John. One that was an absolute barn burner last year, and that's Clinton, the Red Devils, traveling over to Woodruff to Varner Stadium, taking on Coach Sloan and the Wolverines. Last year, Woodruff won an absolute thriller, 40-36. Clinton, running back Javen Cook, Super 75 guy of ours. He's back 1,800-plus yards, 21 touchdowns last year. Offensive lineman Trey Aiken, NC State commit. He's a force up front. You got defensively Kari Vance, Chris Boyd, Jaden Glenn, Rhett Gilliam as well as a guy for them. The 2024 2A state champs, Clinton is looking to repeat this year. On the Woodruff side, running back Aiden Gibson, one of the better backs in the state, just a junior. He's a freak out there for Coach Sloan. Tight end Cam Taylor, huge target across the middle, Liberty commit. He is a playmaker for them, along with Corey Moats, just electric playmaker outside there. Linebacker Sean Graybill leads that side of the football for the Wolverines. Both teams, though, John, breaking in new quarterbacks. So Woodruff, Connor Davis stepping in. Clinton, Owen Glenn is stepping in there. What do you make of this matchup? I mentioned it was a great one last year. I was down at that game along with Jerel. Came down to the very end. Do we see another tight football game like that, or we see more of a wider spread this year?
I think we're going to see as thrilling of a game this year as you guys saw last year as well. Mm-hmm. Maybe not quite as high scoring.
I was thinking the same thing.
2 new quarterbacks, but I tell you what, the talent around them both is very, very high. I like Woodruff in this game a little bit. They're at home. Aiden Gibson was one of my favorite players to watch across the state last year. Going to be good to see him another year. He's got to be 15, 16 years old. He's still growing. He's going to get bigger. He's going to get stronger, which is scary for opponents. This will be a really, really good game. I think it'll be a pretty physical game. Clinton is they're a tough group. And I think the way that Woodruff is going to want to play, I think you're going to want to lean on that running game here early on in the season to break in your new quarterback. I think this will be a really fun game. I like Woodruff by a little bit, but I think it's going to be another close game where, depending on how that ball bounces, late in the fourth quarter, it could certainly go either way. But
I agree. I think so too, man. Be a close matchup. Two great coaches with Coach Sloan and Coach Fountain. They've both scrimmaged some really high-powered teams this offseason and played well in those scrimmages. So looking forward to a good matchup here. And I think it really comes down to which quarterback plays a little better in their debut. It's almost, with them, you almost want to lean to the home guy because maybe a little more comfortability there, with Connor Davis stepping in there for the Wolverines. Maybe he plays a little better than Owen Glenn. But then you flip it, and it's like I feel like the quarterback in the Clinton system may not be quite as important as the quarterback in the Woodruff system for what they want to do. So, like, maybe it doesn't matter. I don't know. I'm kind of all over the place here on this one. I know Coach Campbell's defense will have a great plan for Gibson and Moats and those guys. Same thing on the Woodruff side. I know they'll have a great plan for Javen Cook. But, Jerel, before I make my pick, what are you thinking? Because I'm just really in a toss-up here on this one.
Man, so it's just such good storylines with this game, man. It's like, how does Woodruff replace TJ Morris? I mean, he was one of my favorite players to watch last year, that quarterback that was, 5'10", 160 pounds?
Gamer.
Just absolute player. How have these playmakers evolved on both sides? Mentioned Aiden Gibson, and Cam Taylor. There's so many, Corey Moats, just so many good playmakers there. How do we replace the quarterback position there at Clinton as well? And, also too, like Woodruff, how do you go from being the hunter to the hunted? This was the game that burst them out on the scene last year, where we started to kind of take notice that, hey, these guys might be for real. And then Clinton, you got the target on your back every year, but especially as the defending state champ. So a lot of great storylines here. I'm leaning Woodruff. I think, I really picked them to take a step this year. I can't remember. I think I might have picked them to maybe play in the title game. So I think they win this one. Probably not helping you, Kevin, making your decision, but I'm leaning Woodruff, Clinton. But that's no knock on Clinton. We know Clinton's going to be good. They're solid every year. They're one of the best coach programs in the state, and they always just churn out new talent each and every year. So it should be a fun one. I won't be at this one, Zach. Zach, we only messed you guys up down there at Wilder Stadium. So even if we were to show up, we'd be okay there.
So we got two Woodruff picks already, and it's tough because that's kind of where I was leaning. But I know if we all pick the same one, that usually doesn't go well for us. I've got to go back to Woodruff being at home. I think that's a difference there for a first year start for a quarterback. I think them at home is just enough to help Davis and Moats and Gibson. Those guys make just enough plays. I think Woodruff's for real. I think Clinton's. I think both teams are going to be in for deep playoff runs. I'm going to the Wolverines close at home, but I don't feel good about it, John. I really don't. Zach said keeping receipts. Zach, I could completely be wrong with this one. I'm going to go ahead and hand up. Could miss this one 100%. I don't know, but going to be a fun game. Clinton defense just as good. Yeah, I love the defense. They gave up, I think, just 7 against Grade Collegiate in the scrimmage. I know it's just scrimmage, but they played really well there. Love Chris Boyd and Jaden Glenn and those guys on the side of the football. They do a great job there for Coach Campbell and Coach Fountain. Interesting matchup, says Chris. He's going to Woodruff in a close one. I think close too. But I think you're right, John. Last year, 40-36. I'm thinking it's a little bit more low scoring this year than that, but should be a great ball game over there at Varner Stadium. Eric says, hello from the Grand Strand, North Point Beach at Goose Creek to open the season. Replacing 26 seniors, very young. Yes, you are young, Eric. We'll get to that game here in a minute. But Coach Hill and Coach Generette and the boys, I think they'll have the Chiefs ready to roll for that matchup.
Let's keep it rolling, guys.
Our fourth Kona game of the week, a 5A matchup, John, one that it is really intriguing to me, a game that just got scheduled kind of actually later on this summer, got put on the schedule there. And that's Northwestern, the Trojans traveling to Spartanburg, taking on the Vikings. Northwestern, you're defending 2024 D2 5A state champs. Spartanburg, a team that has been to the upper state title game, I think 2 out of the last 3 years, haven't quite gotten over the hump for Coach Hodge yet. Just initial thoughts before I go into some of the playmakers here, John. What do you think about this matchup?
I think this is a really fun matchup. You've got a Northwestern team replacing some very, very key pieces, having to replace an excellent quarterback that had been in the program for a long time. That's going to be tough to do. You still have Tamarian Watkins. That's a big asset to have on your squad. And you got the hardware being state champions. Northwestern, they never lack confidence. That's for sure. I think they are going to be in for a dog fight against Spartanburg. This Spartanburg team, they've struggled offensively. We saw some sparks last year where that offense, a few games really opened it up. But the calling card for this program lately has been their defense. And I think breaking in a new quarterback for Northwestern, that's going to be tough. This is going to be a tough group to have your first game against. And this is going to be a really good game. Northwestern on the road. I think it's going to be a really tight, low-scoring game. I still think the Trojans are going to find a way to win this ball game, but it's going to be a really close game. And I tell you what, if Spartanburg, if they're able to win this game, boy, look out. Especially if they're able to win this game by putting up some points. That could be a really fun team to follow this year if they can really put up some points on a really good Northwestern team. I think they're going to have a great game, but I do like the Trojans.
The Vikings, led by 3-year starter Trey Burkett, quarterback, a Super 75 guy. Junior running back Trenton Lynch is back. Receivers Ferguson and Keenan. Defensively, you got Carson, Foster, Atkins, and Lipscomb. And then an X-Factor kicker, Will Love. Virginia Tech commit. I think I saw him make a 50-plus yarder in the Jamboree last week, so it can definitely be a key player for them if a game is tight down the stretch. Northwestern receivers, Jonathan Spurgeon, Cam Vance, a Super 75 guy. I've talked to some folks. The receivers actually may have more speed this year, John, than last year, which is scary for defenses for sure to have to take that on. Defensively, you got the secondary really good, led by you mentioned Tamarian Watkins, the A&M commit, a Super 75 guy there. Defensive line lost some pieces. They're not as big as last year. They still are quick up front. But offensively, running backs Mobley and Smith will be running behind what is the entire returning offensive line from last year, a group that has a lot of experience, did a really good job last year. I've talked to some folks in the program and said this may be the best O-line in a decade for the Trojans, that's saying something there. Had Jordan Knox at Northwestern commit a couple years ago. They think this group might be better than that. The X factor for the Trojans, new quarterback Xavier Means. Some folks say he may be the fastest player on the team, John. It's your quarterback, and that's pretty impressive to say there. Can he make the passes that Finley Polk made? I don't know. When you're looking at a Coach Walford offense, does he go maybe a little bit more like spread to run almost with Means, get some more quarterback design stuff in there, some quick short passes to Vance and Spurgeon? Don't make him really sit back there like he would a Finley Polk. I don't know. But Spartanburg has become known for playing some of these really tough early season games. They played South Point. They've played Dutch Fork. They got Dutch Fork next week, actually. I think the Vikings do there. Northwestern, they're not scared of a big game. They've had a lot of big games early on in the season as well, played some of those North Carolina Classic games and whatnot. So I'm really excited about this one. It's a tough pick for me because I just know how much Northwestern is losing offensively. But, man, it's just been tough to trust that Spartanburg offense, like you said, John. That's where they've been really needing to take a step, it felt like. The defense would keep them in a lot of football games. They just could not score enough to win some of those big matchups. I think this game at Spartanburg, I think Northwestern gets it done. Low-scoring, close matchup. I think just enough plays from Xavier Means and Cam Vance. I like the Trojans in a close one on the road here.
You better keep them out of field goal range.
Yeah, that's an automatic 3 from Will Love, no doubt about it. Two great coaches, Mark Hodge and Paige Walford. They'll have their groups ready to go for Friday for sure. Jerel, thoughts from you or the chat on this matchup? Another really good Week 0 game.
Man, I was all prepared to say that I was going to go Spartanburg here. You guys have convinced me. I don't know if that's a safe pick anymore. Chris, like even in the chat talking about the defense, but I'm going to stick with it. Spartanburg, they've started slow a lot of these seasons and kind of picked up as they've gone along during the season. But let's let them get out the gate hot here. I'm really high on this team. I really like the offensive playmakers that you're talking about. Will Love, we keep talking about him. Super 75, first time we've had a specialist on the list. So really excited about what he can do and got to keep him out of field goal range. The question marks for Northwestern. That's just what's kind of leading me here. A road game. It's going to be a great environment. It's going to be packed out Week 0. I'm just leaning Spartanburg just because I have probably picked against Northwestern maybe once or twice the last 5 years. So I'm going to do it again. Probably going to eat my words, but I like the Vikings here.
Should be a great matchup. I'm glad that we're split on this one. That's better when we're split, I feel like. So that kind of covers all angles for us. I like that. But comments from the chat here on this 5A matchup, Jerel. Spartanburg defense looks suspect, says Chris. can't handle Northwestern offense. Northwestern by 21 or more. Wow. If the Trojans win by 21 plus, that's going to flip the script for a lot of folks on Northwestern and Spartanburg if that happens there.
That will be scary.
Bradley said he's picking Spartanburg Will Love. I like that pick, Bradley. Could come down to a last-minute field goal, and they've got maybe the best guy in the state if it comes down to that point.
That's all we have on this game, guys. And Michael, we're going to get to Christchurch a little bit later in the show. We're doing the games of the week right now.
Perfect. Our fifth Kona game of the week, our SCISA game of the week, John. Both these teams are actually 1-0 because SCISA started playing last week. We got Pinewood Prep at Northwood. Last year, Northwood 24-21 in this matchup before Pinewood went on their big run to win the state title. Pinewood destroyed St. John's Christian 47-0 last week. Silas Brawner 9 for 13, 196 and 3 touchdowns. Running back Grayson Salago 8 for 139, 2 more touchdowns. Receivers Trey Green, Hayward Moore, Jaden Alexander, all with TDs. Northwood, big win over Strong Rock Christian out of Georgia, 42-14. Coach Waters' bunch, led by Kevin Johnson, the transfer quarterback, athlete Jordan Carter, receivers Aiden Hogan, and East Tennessee State commit and Drew Wolf. Defensively, Cody McCleary and great defender name here, John, Hammer White. Love to hear that for a defensive player. Two great coaches, Coach Holloman, Coach Waters getting after it. Do you think Northwood wins again, John, or does Pinewood get a little get back from that tough loss last year?
I think Pinewood's too good to lose to the same team 2 years in a row. Mm-hmm. That's my justification. I'm going to go Pinewood, but I think it's going to be another close game. I think they're going to have to go out and they're going to have to earn it.
Yeah, Pinewood, you're defending 3A state champion SCISA. Northwood, looking to get to that level. And they've been continuing to get better under Coach Waters. I think they went winless year before he got there, and they're winning 7-8 games now. It feels like a year. Grayson Salago, the running back, I think is the game changer for Pinewood. I like what he does with the football in his hands. Can Northwood have a plan to stop him? We shall see. I'm thinking a close game again, but I like the Panthers on the road to win this one. Jerel, thoughts from you on Pinewood Prep at Northwood in our SCISA game of the week?
Yeah, let's just make it a clean sweep here. I'm leaning Pinewood too. I think they just keep the momentum rolling from last year, and I think they're just going to be too tough on the ground. Sneak in there, get a win, and I like Pinewood here.
Great. Any comments from the chat on the SCISA game of the week or any other games we've already missed the chats on, John or Jerel? Michael Spartanburg experienced in Hungary, Northwestern, one of the fast teams in the state. How they hold it defensively against teams that are real physical. Yeah, a lot of question marks on both sides, I feel like, Michael, there, but should be a great ball game on Friday.
I think that question will be answered on Friday.
For sure. That's all we have in the comments right now, guys.
Perfect. Well, once again, our Kona games of the week, we had Berkeley at Ashley Ridge, Irmo at Oceanside, Clinton at Woodruff, Northwestern at Spartanburg, and Pinewood Prep at Northwood. As always, if you missed one of those when the show's over, you can go back and watch it. It'll live on Facebook and YouTube. You can go ahead and check those out, as always, once the show is over. But Jerel, let's shout out some friends of the program before we start going through the rest of the statewide slate.
Everyday life means everyday expenses. Spend smarter with the Founders Federal Credit Union credit card, offering you low rates and big rewards where it matters most. Enjoy all the benefits of saving while using your Founders Essential MasterCard. Make every swipe and tap count with smart rates, big rewards on select cards, and no balance transfer or annual fees. Because your money should go where you want it to. That's the power of Founders Federal Credit Union. Apply today at foundersfcu.com. Relax.
With 3 convenient locations in Spartanburg, Duncan, and Greenville, Carolina Orthopaedic and Neurosurgical Associates, Kona offers the most advanced training and experience in orthopedic surgery, neurosurgery, sports medicine, and pain management in the upstate. Go to kona.care to learn more.
John, let's take a look down, starting now at the 5A slate. Guys, as always, feel free to throw your thoughts in the comments, ask about some teams, make picks. Love to get to that as we go. But, John, let's look at the 5A matchups for Week 0.
Yeah, on Friday night, we've got Fort Mill hosting Ballantine Ridge. Clover will be across the border playing Chambers. We'll see a good rivalry game in Florence County. You got West Florence and South Florence.
A game that, I'll talk about that one for a second, John. South Florence, obviously defending state champs, bringing back a lot of talent. West Florence, new head coach Chad Wilkes. What do they have this year? We shall see. Last year, South Florence obviously had that great season, went on to win state. West Florence kind of sputtered, did not really have the season they wanted. This was still a really tight ball game when they played. I think it was a one-score game when they played back in Week 0. Two rivals that really throw the record books out, as they say, when these two get together. It should be a fun game. But I think South Florence had a little too much firepower for West. I think Coach Wilkes is, going to be great at that program. But I don't think they have the pieces quite yet that he needs to make a deep run here in 2025.
Yeah. We'll see in the upstate. We'll have Greer hosting Boiling Springs. Nation Ford at home against Blythewood. York will host Indian Land.
Game 1 for Coach Bentley there at Nation Ford, too, by the way. Jake Bentley getting his career started there with Nation Ford and the Falcons.
Somerville will be at home against Stratford.
That's an intriguing game to me there, John. Stratford team, I think we've all been kind of high on the last couple of years. They've really been growing up with Jake and Davis, played a lot of quarterback for them there. They got Malik McGowan, the running back coming in from Goose Creek. Some offensive firepower for sure. Somerville, we know what they've got. Jaden Kelly Murray, Javen Williams running the football. The quarterback spot still up for grabs. You got Cooper Kafina, an absolute gamer. Max Stafford, a really talented guy as well. Which way are they leaning? We don't know. I think Somerville too much firepower. I think they still win this matchup, but I think that could be a very intriguing low country game on Friday night. Comment from Chris, Greer Bowling Springs will be interesting. Yeah, Greer, lost a lot last year. They always seem to have a good running back. We'll see what they can find there. Bowling Springs is going to be really young as well. I think Bowling Springs at home takes this matchup.
Also in the upper state, we'll see Riverside hosting Malden. Goose Creek at home against North Myrtle Beach.
We just had a question there at North Myrtle Beach. I think it was Eric maybe who talked about that group. Yeah, losing 26 seniors off a team that had a pretty good year. Tough to replace there. I do like quarterback Will McNeely, receivers Rio Stevenson and Jaden Chestnut. I think Coach Hill's group is going to be in for a solid season. I think with that, reaching their end, they can certainly win a lot of football games. There's Eric right there. Joe DeGenerette coming in to coach the offense is a big change for them as well. I think the Chiefs get a win. Goose Creek, a team that may have gotten hit harder by the transfer portal than anybody else, John. I think North Myrtle Beach wins that football game.
Yeah, that will be a good game. Rock Hill at home against River Bluff. That'll be a tough test
to me
for Rock
there.
Hill.
Yeah, that's a sneaky one there. First game for alum Leon Bullwares, the head coach of the Bearcats. Yeah, first game for Perry Parks of the Gators. Two teams that I feel a little bit more confident about River Bluff this year. I just know some more of their names than I do Rock Hill. I think Hayden Myers and that crew for Coach Parks, I think they get the win on the road. But two programs I'm really excited to follow this year and to see how they turn out.
Yeah, definitely two good storylines. A River Bluff team that's been solid the last few years. It's just in a tough region. And a Rock Hill team that has been inching back closer to that Rock Hill standard that we know. Camden will be on the road against White Knoll. This was a pretty competitive game last year. Camden felt like they let it get away late. It'll be interesting to see how that game goes down at the bank.
White Knoll replacing Landon Sharp, a new quarterback stepping in. How's that team going to look? We'll see. Same thing with Camden. Grayson Remp taking over as full-time quarterback for Coach Remp there. A fun game. Two teams that we're going to learn a lot more about this week, I feel like.
Then we'll see Jerel's Devil Dogs or Travelers Rest. They will be on the road against Wade Hampton.
Let's stop there at Jerel. Can we get a season prediction on the Devil Dogs?
Oh, man, I was not prepared for that. We're going to win some games. Maybe make a play. Maybe
you're two for Coach Goodman. I mean, he's a proven coach, knows what he's doing. You got some talent there.
Yeah, lay a foundation. I gotta shake the trees, my contacts there, see what we got going on as far as talent wise. But yeah, you gotta like what Coach Goodwin's doing there. And then Wade Hampton. I mean, that's I hate to say it, it's an opportunity for them to get a win early in the season. That's a difficult job there. It's kind of a little rivalry game there too, especially in basketball. But I think it should be good. Devil Dog's gonna win, not by 50 though, Chris. We just gotta hope they can score that in 2 games time.
And Wade Hampton, a lot of young pieces, some talented pieces there for Coach Wright in year 2. I think they're going to be a program on the rise, but I think this year TR a little too much firepower for the Generals.
Down in Columbia, we'll see Spring Valley hosting Richland Northeast. Easley will be at home against Pickens. Lexington goes on the road against Gilbert. Conway hosting Wilson. We'll see
Conway and Wilson. That's an intriguing one there. Conway, a team that has had a lot of down years. People are higher on them than normal, it feels like. Jordan Jenkins, Noah Legg are all back. Wilson, I like that program. Head coach Brian Wilson coming in. They've got a lot of talent there as well. That'll be a sneaky good 5A, 4A matchup here in week 0 as well.
Yeah, I'd like to see Conway improve, but I need to see it before I can start believing it. We'll see Wando hosting SCISA. Midland Valley on the road against JL Man. Ridgeview hosting Fairfield Central. Lugoff Elgin will host Little Richland. This was an excellent ball game. Came down to a trick play at the end of the game last year. Lugoff Elgin coming out on top. Hope to see some fireworks again this year. We talked about one of our Kona games of the week, Northwestern on the road against Spartanburg. That'll be a great game there. Burns hosting TL Hanna. This is a game we typically see a lot of times in the playoffs.
Yeah.
We get it in week 0 this year.
And that's breaking in the brand new Nixon Field as well over there at Burns. Going to be a really fun one. I think Burns could be in for a really good season this year. I like a lot of the pieces they've got. Justice Hopkins up front on the defensive line. Offensively, Trey Segura, Jacoby Fuller, Chew Harris. I think Coach Shaw's bunch could be really exciting this season, a good team to follow. TL Hanna, they're always tough. Got to replace the quarterback, got to replace one of the key wing backs there for them. Coach told that they find running backs. They always do. But I think early on this season, I think Burns at home, it opened up the new stadium. I think they start off with a win here.
Yeah, I think so too. This Burns team has got a lot of really good pieces in place to have a good season. You got to go out and do it, though. You got to go out and win those games.
Another point with that, Burns is a sleeper team for me too, but they've had like pretty much all offseason to prepare for that offense. Like that's another leg up that you got to give for the Rebels there. You know, like they knew what was coming. I like Burns too. It's going to be a lot of excitement. I bet that's going to be a really electric environment week 0.
Hey, it's been a whole year since they've had a home game. A whole year since that crowd's been able to go to a home game there in Duncan. In Greenville, the Red Raiders will be hosting Dorman. Southside on the road against
Amari
Eastside.
commented on Greenville Dorman there, John. That's been a fun matchup we've seen for a couple of years now. They always seem to play a close game, it feels like. Dorman, I'm expecting big things from them this year. New quarterback comes in from across the state line there. I love Kentavian Anderson on defense. Of course, the running back is back for Coach Moore. It's a team that I feel like finished really well last year. The Cavaliers did, John, kind of on a nice uptick there. Greenville head coach Scoot Watson steps in. Offensively, they're trying to find a few pieces. I know defensively, got some nice talent there with Renwick and Christie, and then Franklin Whitley up front, the defensive line playing well. I think Dorman a little too much firepower in this matchup, but that'll be a fun game to start off the season.
Yeah, I expect Dorman to win this game, and I would like to see Dorman for Dorman to have the season I think they can have. I'd like to see them really win comfortably on Friday to propel them to what could be a really good year for the Cavaliers. This is a really fun matchup here, close to being a game of the week for us. Gray going down to James Island. That will be a really good game, a game you don't typically see.
Yeah, exactly right. Gray Collegiate. You know some of the names there. You got, Tyler Waller is back. Hazari Gant is back. You got the running back Trayvon Williamson coming over from Gilbert, a kid that's had some monster years so far in his career. James Island, on the other hand, you don't know a lot of the names. All of those guys have moved on from the past. Wishy Ravenel, the Scotts are gone. Who's going to step in and be the playmakers for Coach McCoy's bunch? We know they always play tough defense. And, John, you mentioned it. That's not an easy road trip from Columbia down to the island. Tough place to go. As Coach McCoy says, PTI, protect the island down there. I'm looking for a really fun matchup from Coach Bryant, Coach McCoy's bunches this Friday.
Yeah, that'll be a good test for both sides. Another one of our Kona games of the week. Up the road in Mount Pleasant, we'll see Oceanside taking on Irmo. We covered that game earlier in the first segment. We'll see Lake City on the road against Myrtle Beach. Another one of our Kona games of the week.
I want to talk about that for a second, John. Lake City, a team that I'm high on in 2A. I think they can make some real noise. Myrtle Beach, a team that they used to be a year in, year out contender. Last couple seasons have not quite been at that level. Are they back this year? I don't know. You got Tanner Gaddy, you got Mike Cohen, some pieces there for sure. How good will Coach Wilson's bunch be? I don't know. But I think just 5A versus 2A, you almost have to lean Myrtle Beach here in that matchup.
Yeah, they should certainly get the W on Friday. Another one of our Kona games of the week, Ashley Ridge hosting Berkeley. That will be a great match that we talked about earlier. Hilton Head hosting RB Stall. West Ashley at home against Lucy Beckham. Fort Dorchester will go on the road to take on Beaufort. Chapin is at home against Catawba Ridge.
That's a good game there, I think. Chapin, the last couple of years have been known for Brady Albro slinging the football around. A lot of great offense there. They had a quarterback battle going on. I don't know who won that yet. I know Jay Stoker was an option. The transfer from Easley got J.R. Kennard as a weapon out wide for them as well. But then defensively on the Catawba Ridge side, Josh Dobson, a top 5 player in the country for 2027. It'll be fun to see him match up against some of those Chapin receivers. That will be a great game there. Looking forward to seeing Coach Cole and Coach Lindak's bunch go at it. Chapin also got a big-time offensive lineman, Caden Muskus, the App State commit. That'll be a fun game there. The Copperheads and the Blue Eagles. I don't know where to lean on that one, John, but it should be a great ball game.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Catawba Rich they started off really high as a program, lost some players, dropped off a little bit. But, a lot of talent in that area. Chapin's got some good pieces in place, some experience there. It'll be a fun game to watch. Talking about a fun game to watch, Gaffney at the reservation hosting Independence from Charlotte. That will be a big-time game, big-time atmosphere over in Gaffney.
And I say it every time we have these games every year. North Carolina versus South Carolina versus Georgia, whatever. I'm taking the home team every time. Give me. And when I say home team, I mean South Carolina team. I want those guys to win all those games. Don't know anything about Independence, but I hope the Indians blow them out.
They're probably going to be pretty good. They typically are. In Simpsonville, we'll see Hillcrest hosting Lawrence. And then down in Sumter County, we'll see Lakewood hosting Sumter. Little rivalry game there, but you certainly expect the Gamecocks to come out on top.
Jerel, comments from you or from the chat on the 5A slate this week?
That quote's getting clipped right there. Let's pull the chat up there. Sure, we'll have some fun. I got to put this up because I think it's hilarious.
TR by 50 says Chris.
I just want it up there. I don't think we'll ever see that again.
Somerville Stratford also a rivalry down there. Yes,
that's true. It's a good point.
Nathan, I'm just gonna take my lumps. Next time I'm there, we'll work something out. We'll get you some lunch. I think we're going to the Clock or something like that, so we'll make that work.
Hannah Storm St. Ruins to open in the stadium. Hannah by 14 says Chris. TL Hannah has had Burns' number lately. It feels like for sure in some of these last few matchups. Bradley says Burns by 10.
I like that.
Patrick says, "What's up, guys? Patrick, good to see you, buddy. I know you're excited for Friday night, getting Gaffney rolling in the Upstate." Chris says Orman by 21. Greenville lost a lot. And not only transfer portal, also just to graduation, too, it feels like. All those pieces have kind of gone now. Keenan at Dreer, says Adam Rice. Get to the game here in a minute. We're high on the Raiders for sure, Adam. Going to be a fun one and a fun team to follow this season. Chris says Gaffney by 120. And actually just 21. Either way. I know Coach McFadden and Independence will have a good squad, but I like what Gaffney brings to the table for sure.
That'd be a great win.
Is Josh Thompson the best player in the state, regardless of classification? Per the recruiting sites, he is, Michael. I'm not a recruiter myself. Not going to say that I've put eyes on all these guys, but per On3 or 247, whatever you like to look at, he is the best player in the state.
Yeah, bona fide top 10 prospect.
Gaffney impressed with the screens to Dutch Fort. Yeah, they did look good. Jay McDowell, a big touchdown there for the Indians. They were impressive. And right quick, Jerel and John, 2 Thursday 5A games. We got Berea at Woodmont. Coach Boyd, the Wildcats' first game. I think they start off with a win on Thursday night. And then another game just got moved to Thursday due to some stadium issues. That's Westwood traveling to AC Flora. I think that's a good matchup.
It's going to be a good
Burris, the Red Hawks, year one for him. Carrington Carter, Jaden Boyd, Cam Cunningham, some really good pieces there for Westwood, AC Flora, Roper Winsky, Blake Patet, Kendall Bird. Could see a lot of points in that Thursday game, I think, there.
Yeah, that'll be a good one there.
Let's drop down to 4A, guys.
Looking at 4A, John, let's roll through that slate.
Yeah, starting in North Carolina, we'll see South Point going to Huff. That will be a big-time game there. May River on the road against Airport. Hampton County will go on the road against Colleton County. We will see Darlington hosting Lamar. We'll have South Aiken on the road against Silver Bluff. We had asking about Keenan going to Dreer like the Raiders in that game. Keenan's a team that I think is a little under the radar. They might stay under the radar very much longer.
Agreed. Coach Corey Jenkins at Dreer. They're going to be a little more run heavy this year, I think, from the folks I've talked to. But I like Keenan. Coach Neely, the official head coach now, no longer the interim. I love the running back Hunter O'Neill. A lot of good pieces there. Marcus Simpson's a playmaker out wide for them. I think Keenan's in for a really good season. I think they win this football game. And then taking one step back, John, South Aiken Silver Bluff. That game's intriguing. A South Aiken team that has scored a lot of points the last couple of years. Defense hasn't been great. Silver Bluff, I don't know what to make of those guys. Are they back this year? Are they not back? I don't know. That's a game I'll keep my eye on Friday night for sure.
Yeah, they got to get better. But they will. Seneca will go to Powdersville.
Almost, that was a game I thought about throwing out for game of the week. I mean, that's a nice matchup there. Seneca, really good running back there for them, for Coach Crane. They've had some good seasons the last couple of years. Powdersville, I'm high on this team. The quarterback, Kagan Reed, is back. Tavius Williams, a playmaker out wide for Coach Mustard's bunch. I like that matchup a lot as well on Friday.
Then we'll have Emerald hosting 96. We'll have Palmetto at home against Wren. Liberty hosting Fountain Inn. Fountain Inn with an impressive opening season last year. See what they can do in year 2. We'll have Chester going on the road to Lancaster. Ainer at home against Aiken.
I want to see the new Ainer offense. You know, I want to see them go to the flex spawn, spread it out a little bit, John. I want to see what they can do there against the Fighting Hornets, a team that has got some excitement as well. The new head coach there, Steve Hibbett's going from Georgia. I know the Hornets fans are pumped to get that season rolling for them as well.
We'll have Crestwood hosting Manning. That's a really, really good ball game right there. Two pretty good teams. North Augusta hosting Thompson from the Georgia area. We'll have, let's see, we got a couple 5A matchup repeats here. We've got Bluffton on the road against Whale Branch. We'll have Daniel on the road against Chapman.
That's a fun one. I want to stop there for a second, John. You know, Daniel, new head coach Chris Stone, a lot of, noise around the program the last few weeks. They've got a lot of talented playmakers. We know that. What can Jace Grass and his bunch do on offense, Trey Wembley and those guys? Chapman, I think we're all high on Chapman. We think they're all going to have a bounce back year here in 3A. We think they're going to be a lot better for Coach Cab this season. But Daniel, a lot of firepower, man. They're going to score a lot of points. I think the Lions win this matchup on the road, but I do expect good things from Chapman this season. Yeah,
it should be, even if Daniel does win this game, be a good barometer for Chapman to see where they are to start the season this year. And then here's a big time matchup here to close out 4A. The West Side, they'll go on the road. I believe this is an Alabama squad, Vestavia Hills, a big time program out of that kind of Birmingham area.
I believe it is Alabama, yes. West Side, South Point, Gaffney, North Augusta, Clover. I'm pulling for all you guys to win your games against the other states. I want you to do that. I'm really intrigued to see how this West Side team looks. A lot of new faces there for Coach Lane. I know the offense will be good. Interested to see who steps up and makes big plays this Friday. I hope they win this football game. Jerel, comments from you or the chat on 4A here?
Yeah, gotta love the border battles, and obviously skipping a state there with them playing Vestavia in Birmingham. That should be a lot of fun. I love those matchups as well. Coach Lane is no stranger to that, especially when he was the Burns days. They always traveled the country to play. But I also just wanted to remark, you guys were going through it. I love these week 0, week 1, these early season rivalry matchups.
Yeah.
Even through like realignment and stuff like that. I love the schools that are able to preserve those rivalry matchups. So that's always a lot of fun as you guys go through that. Go through some comments here.
Chris says Daniel blocks out the noise because that shows they are together and united. Yeah, I mean, they've got tons of talent. I mean, they are one of the premier programs in the state. I think they're going to be just fine this year, Chris. I think they win this football game against Chapman, but I like the Panthers too. Nathan says, I'll talk to early November, please. That's when the season starts for Daniel, that playoff run for sure. That's a great point, Nathan.
We usually aren't allowed to. We don't have much to talk about until November with them.
Soak it in while you can.
Charles asked about Wren. They go on the road to Palmetto. I like this
rivalry
team a
game.
lot. It is. Palmetto, Coach Norton, I like what he's done with that group. They're really kind of building up, it feels like. I think Wren, though, is poised for a really big season. Love the defense there. Love Carson Bright on offense, the new quarterback stepping in for Coach Freight. Got an interview with him coming out probably next day or so. Really pumped to see that Hurricane team. But that's a fun game. Like you said, Jerel, a rivalry matchup early on. Love to see those games. Michael said he's favoring Huff over South Point. Darn good game. It certainly is. Two programs that are always really talented there. Going to be a fun kind of border battle there this week. Burns by 50, says Giants fan. If Burns wins by 50, Jerel, we got to start our poll early and put the number 1 next week if that happens.
Clear, like overall power ranking number 1.
That's right. That's right.
Nixon Field, new Nixon Field, toughest place to play.
That's right.
Definitely monitor this.
Yeah, John, I've seen a couple games. I think Pelion had their game moved to Thursday. I know some teams kind of along the coast, the CSR, were talking about Thursday. I don't know when you make that call. Is it today? Is it tomorrow? I don't know. But there's a chance some get moved. I think the upper state, I believe, will hang out on Friday. Not sure about the rest of the state, but certainly we'll keep an eye on that. If we see it, we'll post it on our Twitter page. Certainly follow us on Twitter/X, X to Everything app to check it all out.
All socials, just keep it up. We'll have it posted if we find out about it.
Peyton said, always hard to predict. Long ways to over. Feels great to talk football again. It certainly does, Peyton. And like you said, there's just a lot of questions we need to see answers for. Like some of these teams, we just don't know who's going to start at quarterback or things like that. So it's hard to make some of these picks here early on for sure.
I don't know which Vikings, but we're going Vikings here.
Could be Spartanburg, could be Spring Valley, could be Washington game one there for him. Could be Latta. Who really knows? Denmark Olar, let's go Vikings. I love it.
Let's go down to 3A, guys.
Looking down at 3A now, John. Let's take a look at those matchups.
Yeah, talk about a team with some question marks. We got Marlboro County. They'll be hosting Lake Marion.
Love that defensive line. They got a really fun bunch there for Coach Johnson. I think that is going to be maybe the calling card for them this year, is that defensive front, as they kind of find some new pieces on offense. I think those guys of Ash, Walton, and Williams really carry that bunch early on at least.
Flipping to the upstate, we'll have Walhalla hosting Landrum. Phillips Simmons at home against Hanahan.
Two teams that I'm intrigued by there. Hanahan, we know they've got some pieces, don't have a ton of depth, it feels like there. Phillips Simmons, a team that a couple years back we thought had legit state championship, chances. Had some really good players there. Last year, not quite the season they wanted to have for Coach Bendig there. What do they have this year? Will they come out of the gates with? We'll see a team that it feels like has had a lot of talent lately. So we'll see how the Iron Horses shake out against the Hawks on Friday.
Here's a pretty good matchup here. We've got Abbeville going to Southside Christian. A 1A, 3A matchup, but a legacy 1A matchup, if you will.
Yeah. Now it's one. Yeah. Abbeville, a team that is similar, John. We have, I wouldn't say it's questions. We just don't know the names yet. They've got a bunch of guys stepping in to fill in new plays. Like we know Jaden and Jalen Baylor are big-time players. We know Jones up front's a stud. But who are some of these other backs and quarterbacks that are going to step in and be playmakers? And we don't really know the names yet. We know Coach Nichols always has talent. They will be just fine. Southside Christian, this is an intriguing team for me. Year one for Coach Guest there. Jack Criswell, still at quarterback, is a good player for them. I think they are much improved this season. How good, we'll see. We'll learn a lot on Friday about that bunch.
Yeah, and you're exactly right about Abbeville. The playmakers are going to be there. We just don't know the names yet.
Yeah.
We will soon. Swansea hosting Mid-Carolina. Belton Honeypath will be at Broome.
Two teams that and more trying to, figure out who replaces certain pieces, especially on the BHP side. Who steps in as a playmaker on offense. We know we got KJ Miles, you got Tajay Watson-Martin, you got some Jakari Anderson. Some names of course, there at BHP, but who will fill that void left by Henderson? I think they win this game on the road. Broome, I'm kind of up in there. A lot of moving pieces. Tyquan Booker goes from running back to receiver. He had 1,000 yards last year. You're moving your receiver to running back. Jamison Juryberry's back quarterback. I don't know about Broome. I'm a little bit, not sure. So I think the Bears win on the road, but that's a fun matchup as well.
Yeah, I'm interested to see how Booker's utilized because he is a very, very big threat in the backfield. So they must have a good plan to put him out wide. It'll be fun to watch. We'll see North Charleston going to Military Magnet. Christchurch will be hosting Hammond.
This one's sneaky good here. 2 years ago, Jerel and I went down and saw Hammond play. No, sorry. What am I thinking? We have not seen Hammond play, but Hammond has been hammering everybody in the high school league they keep playing. Besides Gaffney, lost to Gaffney in a very close game. Outside of that, they beat everybody they've played in the high school league. This year, a lot of new faces on offense for the Skyhawks. Defense brings back a lot of playmakers, though. Coach Wheeler always has a good bunch there. Christchurch, a team that I'm really high on. I talked about them extensively last week in 3A. Michael, hey, guys, we're talking about you right now, actually. Love the quarterback, Judd Wyndham, stepping in. You got Michael Martin, the running back. Jude Hall and Atkins outside. And Atkins in the DB spot is a great player for them as well. I think Coach Hatfield's bunch is in for a big season. It's just, I don't know what Hammond has on offense. I know they've got a lot of talent. That'll be a fun game to watch on Friday.
Down the low country, we'll see Georgetown hosting Kingstree. Chesney will be at home against Pendleton. We'll have Loris on the road playing Green Sea Floyds. Crescent heading to Saluda. Waccamaw will be hosting Carvers Bay.
Two teams I like a lot there. Coach Richard and Coach Johnson had those guys going the right direction. I think that game, probably kind of a rivalry game as well down there in that part of the state. That'll be a fun one to follow on Friday, keeping score alerts on that one for sure.
Yeah, Waccamaw, great finish to the season last year for those guys. As we talk about one of our Kuna games of the week, go back and check out our preview of this game. Woodruff hosting Clinton. Had a great game in this one last year. Hope to see another great game on Friday. We'll see Newberry on the road against Union. Dillon, they'll cross the state line. They'll play Scotland on Friday night, breaking in a new quarterback for the Wildcats as well. Orangeburg-Wilkinson, they'll be hosting the Anderson Cavaliers, private school there. We'll see West Oak playing the Greenville Hurricanes. I believe that's a charter school that West Oak will be taking on. We'll see Hilton Head Christian. They will be at home against Battery Creek. And St. Joseph's will be playing SCISA opponent as well, and Cardinal Newman to round out the 3A slate.
Jerel, comments from you or the chat on 3A?
We got limited comments. We got some clarification
Spartanburg.
about that here. Spartanburg.
Looking forward to that game. Hey, and if you missed it, we broke down Northwestern Spartanburg back in our Kona games with the first segment of the show. You can watch that when we get done. It will be a fun matchup for sure.
Peyton's got a great comment here as far as upsets.
Upset opportunities. Yep, less than more question marks. Great teams make plenty of mistakes. Certainly could be. And there's a couple games that I've got an eye on where I think that, don't know about yet. Does that make them right for an upset for sure?
And Randy's we gotta put Roddy on the radar here. I gotta know what team so we can keep
Christchurch. It's a Christchurch. Roddy
There we
Barnett. Go. Yeah. Big time player up front for Coach Hatfield's bunch. He's been doing some great things this summer. I see some tape from him. Looking forward to him up front with the Cavaliers this year.
You wouldn't know that, Kev. Make me look bad.
Randy says Woodruff and Christchurch is an excellent jamboree game. Excited to see Clinton and Woodruff. Yes. All three of those teams I'm really high on that we just mentioned there in that comment. So that'll be fun to watch.
Yeah, that's all we got here for the commentary for 3A.
Jerel, let's shout out some friends of the program and then look down at the 2A ranks.
Preferred Home Services.
Schedule your sewer drain clearing with Preferred Home Services today. If we can't clear it, it's free.
Electrical, plumbing, cooling too.
Go, 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 Preferred.
Founders Federal Credit Union means banking made for you. The on the go, the pick up and go, and the I want to go. Because at Founders, we give you the financial tools that make every dollar work for you. For the little things to the big things. For your future and your peace of mind. We'll always stay grounded in our roots, but reaching beyond what you'd expect is where we'll always go. Find out what our members already know and enjoy a new way to bank. Relax, you're with Founders.
Let's look down at the 2A ranks now, John.
Yeah, starting in Columbia, we'll have Eau Claire hosting Ridgeland. Long trip for Ridgeland in this one. We'll see a very much closer quarters here. Central of Pageland hosting Louisville.
A fun game. Coach Usher at Louisville played at Central. I think won a state title there. His dad coached at Central. These are two 1A teams that I'm really high on. I think both of them have a lot of athletes this year. Central brings back a ton of players from last year's group. Louisville lost a little bit more. That'll be a fun game on Friday. A pretty good measuring stick for both groups, it feels like.
And Pageland cracking the preseason top 10 as well. So a little bit of pressure on them to start the season well. American Leadership, they'll be on the road against Thornwell. We'll see Scotts Branch. They'll be on the road against East Clarendon. Timberland on the road against Lee Central.
That's a sneaky good matchup, too. I think if you're in that area, that'll be a good game. I like what Lee Central brings back for Coach Danner there. 5 starters, both sides of the football. Timberland, we know they got the big guy, Desmond Green, up front. I don't know. This is an intriguing matchup there. I think we'll learn a lot more about those teams, too, on Friday.
We'll have Strom Thurmond hosting McCormick. Chesney at home against Pendleton. We will have Blacksburg going on the road against Ware Shoals. Johnsonville, the Flashes, they'll be on the road against Chesterfield.
An interesting game there. Chesterfield, New head coach, alum Nick Dixon stepping in there, filling that void. I think they had a solid year last year. What do they have this year? We shall see. Johnsonville, a team that was down for their standards last year, it felt like. What do they have coming back for Coach Cribb? I don't know yet.
Another squad with some high hopes this year, the Jerel Braves. They'll be on the road against McBee. Academic Magnet, they will go on the road and play Patrick Henry Academy. Bamberg Earhart, they're on the road playing Edisto. We've got Great Falls hosting North Central. C.A. Johnson against Columbia. And Kev, you may know more about this one. We've got Buford on our schedule, but without an opponent.
I'm not familiar with who the Yellow Jackets are playing. I do not know that one. I do have some Thursday 2A games for us. So we've got Mountain View Prep taking on Atlantic Collegiate on Thursday. We've got Williston Elko going over to Pillion to take on Coach Helms in his first game there. Lakeview and Marion, that feels like that's been a Thursday night season kickoff the last couple of years, the Wild Gators and Swamp Foxes. I think Swamp Foxes are better this year. How good we shall see. Lakeview always a strong team down there in 1A. And then Blackfield Hilda at Barnwell, a game that Jerel and I went to last year. Really fun matchup, the Fighting Hawks and the Warhorses. Two teams that, really close in proximity, a really good rivalry game there for Coach Smith going up against Coach Sates over there, Blackfield, the new coach there. And this is kind of special too, John, because as you know, we got the new high school coming in a couple of years down there. Barnwell County High School, I think in 2028 is going to open the door. So you don't get but so many of these matchups left, which is sad. So that's really a big game down there on Thursday night at Barnwell, W.W. Carter Stadium down there. Any comments on 2A, Jerel?
Yeah, we got a few. Let's go ahead and do that. See, we got Thurman.
Rails by 55, says Trev. I like it. I like it. I'm high on that bunch. I think they win this week. 55 might be excessive. We'll see.
Not enough.
It's
But
good to see
I
from
do
there.
like the Rebs over McCormick for sure.
It's missing Dion. Good to see him in here. Good to have you back.
Yeah, I
again,
appreciate you.
Dion.
Bamberg taking on Edisto. I think they are in for a big season. I like Marcus Can there for Coach Crosby a lot. I like that bunch. Dion says Barnwell by 14 over Blackfield Hilda as well.
Was that the score last year? I think that was the score last year. So,
I think we saw a field goal, so I don't know.
Okay.
Maybe it was.
it was close. Extra point.
Certainly could have been. Michael's hearing a lot of hype about Dylan's new quarterback. Yes, Kale Sam Funktalia, really, really good player. He's got great size for a ninth grader as well. Big-time arm talent there for Coach Roller. Zay Robertson, super explosive. You mentioned him in your comment as well. He's a North Carolina commit. Really smooth on the field, too. I like the way that he runs his routes, catches the football, and that'll be a deadly combo all season long, I feel like. Allie, who like Wilson Elko or Pillion? It's a tough matchup, Allie. I'm going to lean Pillion because they're at home, and it's the first game for Coach Corey Helms. I think the Panthers get it done at home. I like this Wilson Elko bunch, but I think on the road, a little too much firepower for the Panthers there.
I think it'd be a lot of excitement in Pillion for that game.
Woodland, really good edge, Jameen Pinkney. Is that right, Jerel?
That's correct.
Yeah, Super 75 guy. Coach Ford's bunch has had some really talented seasons, or really talented players the last couple seasons. This year, I don't know if they quite had the offensive firepower they need to make a deep run. I know actually Woodland is scrimmaging Batesburg-Leesville on Friday. Two teams without a week 0 going to kind of set up a scrimmage. I like to see that here, but don't know a ton about them yet, Chris, but always a well-coached bunch, it feels like, for sure.
I feel like this comment is bait coming from Nathan, so I'll let Kevin read this one, John. We'll just hang back.
What are our thoughts on Hemingway getting into football this year? Heard it was due to so many players transferring out. Again, another problem SCHSL didn't consider. Hemingway has been in a downward trajectory the last several years. Obviously, Nathan, as you guys know from watching the program, I hate that it's had to come to this school. That's a proud program. They've had a lot of really talented teams back in the past. I mean, basketball, they were always a great program. Football, they had some really talented teams as well. I don't know if it's transferring out or it's just kids just not wanting to play. Hemingway is a town in general has been shrinking along with the school size as well, so it could just be part of that. I like Coach Al Calcutt, a guy who's been around the game a long time, stepping in there. I think he will get them back to a playable, respectable level. And I hate it for the older kids. I don't know what they're doing. Like, are they able to go play somewhere else this year? I don't really know. But you hate to see that. You don't want to see anybody have to drop football for sure. But Hemingway was, I mean, they were in a bad spot. Maybe this is a good reset for that program, you could say. I mean, there's a couple years ago, they had a bunch of fights as well, couldn't even finish the season. So hopefully this kind of, clears things out, reset button, rock and roll in the future. But yeah, hate to see that this year for sure, Nathan.
Going back up.
Jeremy says, let's go Stangs. Beat the Hurricane. I think he's a Palmetto Mustang fan there. Jeremy says, I like Coach Norton. It'll be fun to see what Palmetto does here this year for him. Allie says that's good for Barnwell County New High School for the Bulls in 2028. Yeah, you hate to see these small schools going away, but that is going to be a really good football team when you combine Wilson Elko, Blackfield Hill, and Barnwell here in a couple of years.
Especially those programs. Like those are two like really awesome, like three really awesome programs. Excuse me.
Yeah,
that's going to combine. I mean, eventually, it's going to work out, but you hate to lose the individual history of those programs. That makes me sad.
I'll be interested to see what classification that school will be.
I'm thinking 3, if I had to guess.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Strong there, number 5, Shaheed Williams. Remember the name? Yeah, he's a playmaker, man. He's going to be fun to follow this year. They got a lot of talent there down in the Peach Fields.
Let's keep it rolling, guys.
Let's look down at the 1A ranks now, John.
Yeah, in 1A, we've got a lot of South Carolina High School League SCISA matchups here. Hannah Pamplico, they will go on the road and play Heathwood Hall.
I'm high on this Heathwood Hall team. Hannah Pamplico lost a lot last year. They've got to figure out some pieces as well. I like Heathwood Hall. A lot of returners there for Coach Zimmerman's bunch. I think Heathwood Hall wins this game at home. I
think so too. We'll see the Latta Vikings hosting East Columbus out of North Carolina. Hardyville, they're at home against Bethune-Bowman. Baptist Hill, they're hosting Clear Dot Charter. If you want a complete breakdown recap of that Clear Dot Charter program, just let Kevin know. He'll give it to you.
Yeah.
We've got, I can't even say with a straight face. I'm sorry. If there's anybody on the Clear Dot team listening, I apologize.
Send us some notes. We don't have anything on you guys.
Yeah. We'll see Branchville heading to Whitmire. We've got Wagner Sally on the road against Denmark Olar.
Let's stop there, John. Those are 2 1A games that I'm intrigued by. Branchville, a team that has looked really good the last couple of years. I think what they're doing, they got some young pieces that'll be good for them. Whitmire, Coach Campbell does a great job there as always. I think Branchville, though, could be poised for a nice season in 1A. And then Wagner Sally, Denmark Olar. I like this Warhawks bunch a lot there at Wagner Sally. I think Coach Gillespie has a good group coming back. Denmark Olar, I know, lost a few pieces here and there from the last couple of years. I like Wagner Sally in that matchup.
I think Denmark Olar, they're a program that's right there. They're very, very close. They're a program where you get 1 or 2 big wins. They can really set you, really propel you for the rest of the season. Be a big game for both programs Friday. We've got Hunter Kenner Tyler on the road against Allendale Fairfax. And let's see, what else do we have? We've got Calhoun Falls hosting Greenwood Christian. Any more games? Yes, we do. We've got Dixie on the road against Rich Spring Minetta, and that will close out the. Oh, no, we got a couple more. Sorry. We've got one more game. Cross hosting Calhoun. I believe that's Calhoun Charter.
Calhoun County.
That's Calhoun County.
Yes.
I misspoke earlier. So Cross hosting Calhoun County, and that's Calhoun Falls Christian or Calhoun Falls Charter.
Yep.
Hosting Greenwood Christian. I'll get these right as we go through the year.
Yeah. Back to that Dixie RSM game. Dallas Dawson, the quarterback at Dixie, a really good athlete there. I'm expecting big things from both of those programs this year. RSM, we'll see what they have, but I like that Hornets group there. And then Big Cross, lower state champs last year, taking on a good Calhoun County team. They were Coach Farmer. I think Cross wins that matchup, as does Dion there. Any more comments from you or the chat on 1A, Jerel?
I mean, just John Classic, we're already not endeared to the Cross fans. Just completely forgot him on the schedule. So we'll get it fixed. We'll talk to John about that.
Save best for last. Best for last.
We got some more score predictions here, guys.
RSM 28-21. Yeah, like I said, I think both these teams are going to be good this year. I like those both teams down in 1A. I think RSM and Dixie have a chance to be good. Dion's taking Wagner Sally as well to win.
Going that Barnwell County High School.
Nathan said 3A 2028. That's probably what I'm thinking as well. Is where they're going to be.
And going back to that, Allie, I love his thought. If you can't beat them, let's go ahead and join them.
Understand? Barnwell's has been the bigger program, Allie. I mean, it's it's kind of how it goes sometimes, but that'll be a fun group to follow when they get together.
Let's keep it moving, guys.
Let's look down now at the SCISA ranks, John. Go through that slate for this week.
Yeah, SCISA schedule. We've got Hilton Head Prep hosting St. Andrews. Andrew Jackson Academy going down to Dorchester Academy. Conway Christian hosting Kings Academy. We've got Richard Wynn hosting Cary Christian. Augusta Christian will be playing on the road against John Milledge Academy. We've got our SCISA game of the week, Northwood hosting Pinewood Prep. We reviewed that game toward the beginning of the program. Wardlaw on the road against King Academy. Carolina, they will be hosting Beaufort Academy. Lawrence Academy at home against Newberry Academy.
That'll be a fun one there. Lawrence and Newberry, I think, both have some good playmakers this year. A fun 8-man game to follow for sure.
We've got Dillon Christian at home against Florence Christian. And we've got Thomas Henry going to Bethesda.
Thomas Hayward, last year's 1A state champ taking on the runner-up in 2A in Bethesda. Tony O'Banner, Josh Gibson, really good players there for Thomas Hayward. I think they go on the road and win this game. That's probably a big task for them, but I like this bunch. I like what Coach Malfors does there with that team.
Clarendon Hall hosting Spartanburg Christian. We'll see Williamsburg Academy hosting Thomas Sumter. Jefferson Davis will be hosting the Christian School Cross, not Big Cross.
Little Cross.
Little Cross. Trinity Collegiate hosting PD Academy.
Two teams I like. PD last year's 2A state champ. A lot of talent back. Tristan Heckman goes from running back to quarterback now. Be a lot more run heavy for Coach King's offense this season. You got Justin Martin helping out on that football as well. Ryan Small leading that defense is a big time player there for the Golden Eagles. Trinity Collegiate, they got some pieces back too. Davidson Lynch at quarterback, running backs Mack and Jackson, receivers Williams and Preston, linebackers Birch and Wilcox, both 100-plus tackles last year. A team that I think can make a little bit of a run in their class. So, PD won this game handily last year at home. Going over to Darlington this year, be a fun one to follow on Friday in the SCISA ranks.
We got Lawrence Manning hosting John Paul. Calhoun Academy on the road against Northside Christian Academy. Porter Goud at home against First Baptist.
That Porter Goud team looked really nice last Friday. A big win for them as they got their season kicked off with a 1-0 record.
Orangeburg Prep at home against Wilson Hall. Colleton Prep on the road against St. John's Christian. Both of those teams 0-1, looking for their first win Friday night. We've got Holly Hill Academy closing it out at home against Cathedral Academy for SCISA.
Jerel, thoughts from you or from the chat on this SCISA slate here before we go into starting to wrap up here?
Yeah, just a PSA. I want to quickly, just if you guys have not, if you're high school league fans and stuff like that, if you're in the Midlands and below, go check out a SCISA game. I am someone who grew up in the upstate, didn't really have the opportunity to watch those games. If you're traveling or something like that, go check out those games, man. There's some really great players that come out of there. A lot of D1 sleepers that you wouldn't even think about that come out. It's really good football, great environments as well too. Went to my first SCISA game last year, really enjoyed it. So if you're able to do so, support some of those programs and kind of keep up with it as well. But we just have a couple comments as we close this out. And first one with JD talking about
one is the Abbeville Invitational. It certainly feels that way, JD. I mean, they seem to be a level above most 1A teams, but we'll see if somebody can rise to be contender this year or not. It's going to be tough for sure.
And Kelly asking us our player of the year, our preseason player of the year, I guess.
Ooh.
It's tough.
I don't know. Who do you guys like? I mean, I guess kind of a Mr. Football pick here. We kind of talked through that on our Sunday headline show that came out last night. Who are some guys y'all like? I mean, I like Xavier Currents is a big option. Cam McMillan as well. Contavian Anderson, just a few names. Who are some guys you like, John and Jerel, as potential players of the year?
I tell you, I don't know that he's going to win Mr. Football, but I really like Tamarian Watkins. He's an impressive guy on the football field.
I mean, got to throw a quarterback in there. I mean, Javon Gilmore.
I like that.
I mean, he's going to be in the mix. I mean, it's turned into more of like an who's going to what school type of award, honestly. But I think it's going to be very interesting because we have so many talented players throughout the state. So too many to pick from me.
Perfect. Well, Jerel, let's shout out some friends of the program one more time before we finish up for the evening. The George Agency has been serving the insurance needs of South Carolina for over 40 years. They're a full-line insurance agency concentrated in employee benefits and health insurance with an office in Mullins and Murrells Inlet, but they can help you all across the state. They have clients in Greer, Rock Hill, Columbia, and more, so wherever you are, they can help. Give Bradley, Wayne, Richard, and the crew a call or check them out online at thegeorgeagency.net. That's thegeorgeagency.net.
Everyday life means everyday expenses. Spend smarter with a Founders Federal Credit Union credit card, offering you low rates and big rewards where it matters most. Enjoy all the benefits of saving while using your Founders Essential MasterCard. Make every swipe and tap count with smart rates, big rewards on select cards, and no balance transfer or annual fees. Because your money should go where you want it to. That's the power of Founders Federal Credit Union. Apply today at foundersfcu.com. Relax. You're with Founders.
If you guys have not joined it yet, we've got our Pick'em contest brought to you by Hand Engineering. That is live. You can find it on our Facebook or our Twitter/X page. Fill that out for this week. It's 11 games across the state. A lot of fun to do. It gives you a reason to follow teams that aren't just your team or in your region. It's a lot of fun to do. We have some prizes for the season-long winners, all that type of stuff. So really be a part of that. We'll have our polls coming probably week 4-ish, something like that. We'll have Players of the Week next week brought to you by Georgia. So we have Teams of the Week from Preferred Home Services next week as well. Lots of great content pieces coming out for you guys as we get rolling here in week 0, John. I'm really excited, man. This is a great slate of football games. It feels like this Friday and Thursday too.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to it. And what I'm looking forward to the most is what upsets are we going to see? We talked about how many teams have question marks and, we're not sure what certain teams are going to look like. We're going to see some upsets Friday night, and I can't wait to see which ones we're going to see. It's going to be we're going to have some great games. We're going to have some big upsets. We're going to have some great stories. I can't wait. It's going to be great. We got a whole season of it coming.
Yeah, and Friday night, we're going to try to do our spaces, hopefully, after the game, which is basically, if you guys have not joined it, it's on Twitter/X. We do a spaces where we kind of go live and we just go through scores across state. It's basically an old-fashioned scoreboard show. You guys can request to hop in, send us scores, talk to us. Love to hear your thoughts on the games. But we're going to try to get that rolling if we can, if it works out for our driving and our services and whatnot. So we'll do our best to get that going. But as always, get your Movin The Chains merch. Some great shirts here, a black, navy blue, a gray, a pink for the ladies as well. We've got hoodies, white and gray, some great hats. Get you a Movin The Chains hat, black front, gray back, gray front, whatever you want. Lots of great options there. Get the stickers. I love the stickers, John. I got one on my car now. Got one on water bottle. Order you a sticker. Email us that email, or you can just send us a message on any of our social media platforms. Certainly do that and follow along and order some stuff to help the boys out. But I mentioned some of that great content, and we're going to have a lot of great stuff from the games this week as well. We'll have live scoreboard updates, every score on Twitter. We'll have a end of the quarter type deal on Facebook. We'll have some post-game interviews too. Really good stuff for you guys to follow along and see on Friday. Certainly check us out on all of our platforms. We'll have games of the week coming out on Thursday as well. So some really good stuff. We'll have hopefully a hot dog review next week for you guys. Not this week. We hadn't had hot dogs yet. But hopefully next week we have that coming out. But Chris, where you guys going? Not sure yet. Lots of good options, Chris. Looking at maybe Woodruff, maybe Spartanburg. Don't really know what the move is going to be. So may try to catch 2 depending on what happens on Thursday and the weather. So would be a lot of fun to see some of those. Jerel, any final thoughts from you as well here on week 0?
Hey, man, as we've mentioned throughout the show, it's good to be back. Week 0, hitting the grass here, hitting the turf in some parts of the states. It's going to be a lot of fun to keep up with. You guys go check out a game. Support your team. Even if your team is not playing, go support a local football team and help these guys. They worked really, really hard throughout the offseason and fall camp to provide a great product. So, and then bring us something to talk about next Tuesday as well. So we love that stuff. But that's all I got, boys. Yeah,
no doubt. And if you guys see us at a game, feel free to say hello. Love to talk some football with you. Definitely would love to do that. Might have some merch in the trunk, too. If you want to buy a hat or a shirt, may have that, too. So definitely hit us up. Love to get you wearing some Movin The Chains gear out and helping us spread the word. Man, this has been a great first show, I feel like, John and Jerel as well. Just a lot of good engagement, a lot of good comments, but love to have it even bigger next week and the rest of the season. Like, it makes it so much more fun when you guys are giving your thoughts as well. But, John, anything else from you as we wrap up here in week 0?
Yeah, thanks again for everyone that tuned in tonight. We've got our regulars. Super appreciate you guys for sticking with us. We love doing this when nobody was watching, but it's even more fun to do it when we've got interaction and you guys coming in and talking as well, because we certainly don't know it all, far from it. So it's good to have input from you guys that are really got your ears to the ground to some of these programs.
For sure. That's a great point there, John. A lot of fun tonight, and appreciate everybody tuning in. Moving the Chains is always brought to you by Founders Federal Credit Union. Can't wait to see some football this Friday and this Thursday. So for Jerel Hendricks and John Epps, I'm Kevin Thomas. This has been our Week 0 preview show here on Moving the Chains, and we'll catch you guys next week.
Get ready for the ultimate South Carolina high school football experience with Movin The Chains. From previews to recaps, we've got you covered. Dive into our expert preview shows, predicting winners and sharing insights. Then join us post-game for the thrilling recaps, exclusive interviews, and highlights you won't find anywhere else. Plus, connect with fellow fans on our Friday night spaces on Twitter/X. No one covers South Carolina high school football like us. Join us at Movin Chains on all social media platforms and visit movinchains.com today.